This is the story of Jessa, a woman whose life was a series of financial sacrifices for her parents. The moment she believed she had finally earned their love, she discovered she was nothing more than a resource, leading her to engineer a retribution so complete it would not only dismantle their deception but also build her a new life. The message arrived as I was laying out the silverware for Thanksgiving dinner. My hands froze when I read my mother's words. "You won't be joining us on the Christmas cruise. Dad would prefer it to be just the family." My name is Jessa. I was 34 years old, and a few months earlier, I had sold my apartment in Boston and poured every $0.00 into a house for them. Now, I was disposable. Growing up, I should have seen the pattern. When I graduated with my MBA, they skipped the ceremony to secure a non-existent business deal with my $10,000. My first big promotion was celebrated by a cancellation of my vacation to cover my mother's urgent medical procedure, which turned out to be a kitchen remodel. Every emergency, from a broken heater to a looming foreclosure, was just a fabricated crisis, designed to bleed me a little more. They cried, they whispered, "You're our hero," but they were only scripting a betrayal, so convincing that I mistook exploitation for love and sacrifice for belonging. The unveiling. The night after that text, my friend Kelly's words confirmed my fears. My parents had skipped my graduation not out of neglect, but out of calculation. They had been using me as their safety net for years, but the ultimate shock came when I uncovered a in their grand performance. 2 months before their desperate call to me, they had already refinanced their house, quietly extracting $80,000. The heater, the medical bills, the supposed foreclosure, it was all theater, and I had been the audience who kept paying for tickets. I felt no anger, only a cold, chilling determination. That night, I created a new folder on my computer, Project Consequences. The pieces of their conspiracy continued to fall into place. 3 days later, I received a call from their lawyer, who explained that my parents had asked him to prepare paperwork to transfer ownership of the house back into their names, formality for the gift I had intended. That same night, Kelly presented me with more evidence: tax documents, refinancing statements, a boat registration, and a life insurance application. My mother, Linda, had filed for a $200,000 policy with me as the sole beneficiary. As Kelly's face went pale, it hit me. They weren't just stealing. They were building a premeditated trap. If I fought back, if I exposed them, they could point to that policy as my motive for harming them. For the first time, I saw them clearly, not as parents, but as predators. The realization didn't shatter me. It crystallized me. A new plan took shape, outlined by a top lawyer. Phase 1. Lock down every account. Phase 2. Gather irrefutable evidence. Phase 3. Implement consequences. I immediately revoked all bank authorizations, ensuring every transaction now required my personal approval. My house was legally untouchable. Meanwhile, a private investigator meticulously reconstructed their trail of deceit, matching every emergency to a new luxury. The heater emergency to spa receipts, the medical bills to cosmetic procedures, the fake investments to payments for a new boat. I had more than evidence. I had a story the courts would understand. When my parents returned from their cruise, they were met with a locked door. My father rattled the knob, then called me. "Jessa, the lock's broken. We can't get inside." My voice was calm. "The lock isn't broken. You don't live there anymore." Their panic was immediate. I told them to meet me at a restaurant. When they walked in, looking a mess of sunburnt skin and wrinkled clothes, I slid a folder across the table. Inside were bank statements, refinancing documents, the boat registration, and the life insurance application. "You investigated your own parents," my mother whispered. "You tried to frame your own daughter," I replied. "This investigation was the least I could do." My father's jaw tightened. "What do you want, Jessa?" "I want consequences," I said, my words low and deliberate. "Lawsuits, restitution. You stole years of my life and every dollar I saved. Now you're going to pay it back." My mother's face drained of color. "You'd put your own parents in jail." "I'd put thieves in jail," I replied, standing up. "You planned every detail of my downfall. I'm sure you can plan where to sleep tonight." I left them there, two predators caught in their own trap. For the first time, I wasn't the disposable daughter. I was the one in control. The resolution. 6 months later, the legal settlement was finalized. Full repayment of all the money they took, plus damages. They had to sell the boat and return the leased luxury car to cover their lawyers' fees. Their empire of lies collapsed into a tiny one-bedroom apartment with peeling paint. They tried to apologize, to convince me they could try. Again, I closed my eyes and chose my words carefully. "Mom, you need to learn how to live without my money before you learn how to live with me." That month, I launched a consulting business to help others recognize and protect themselves from family fraud. Kelly became my first employee. She asked me one night, "Don't you feel angry anymore?" I smiled. "No, I feel grateful." They taught me the difference between being loved and being used. That lesson is worth more than any house. My parents finally learned the true value of money, when it was theirs, not mine. Because only when you stop being someone's savior can they learn to save themselves.